Hello, welcome back. This is Meg, and today I'm going to be doing a Zendala Mandala style Zentangle with you, and I welcome you to join me. Do this at your pace and stop the video anytime you'd like to, or tangle along with me, or just watch. Whatever works best for you. In true Zendala tradition, I'd like to just take a moment to get myself centered here and focused on what I'm doing with you today. And I'm going to take a deep breath through my nose, take 10 seconds to breathe in, and then I'll take 10 seconds to breathe out through my mouth and try not to do that right into the microphone. So join me if you'd like to. Just take a moment to get centered. Wonderful. Thanks for that. My hands are a little dirty today because I've been painting, so I apologize for that. I just looked down and noticed I've got black paint. So I'm going to do a Zendala, as I said, mandala today, and I've kind of marked where I feel like the middle is. I'm not using a tool today to determine that. And I'm going to be using my Micron 01 archival pen in purple today. The color is purple. And I'm using my standard Zentangle small graphite pencil and a tortillon. That helps to smudge things around a bit. And I have two of those handy, another tortillon handy. And I also have this pencil nearby, which is the General's Pastel Chalk Van Dyke Brown pencil, which I like a lot because of the kind of vintage look that it gives. I don't know if I'll use that yet. Sometimes it just depends on the design. So I want to remind you to lower your shoulders down and, turn your head from side to side and relax into this experience as one that gives you an opportunity to focus on the drawing and the process and let your mind wander. And it's really a nice way to clear some of the thoughts and maybe even feelings that are stuck from the day. So perhaps you're doing this at the end of your day as a way to unwind, and so I encourage you to really let yourself unwind and be present doing just this, and let everything else go away. If you're tangling along with me, I'll try to describe what I'm doing, but I am sort of getting into the mood of it along with you. So given that I think my center is here, I am starting with a kind of a flower shape, imagining that the center of the flower is where those dots are. I generally am comfortable eyeballing like this, but as you can see, it doesn't always come out perfect. And I'm okay with that. I am really going to be able to work with this shape, I think, to make it work for me. I'm going to go back over a little bit because I saw myself just doing that a little too quickly and my pen skipped a little bit. And this may be an older purple pen. Truth is I didn't buy a new one for this, or even recently, so it is one I've had a while, and these pens do run out, but it takes a long time. In my experience, I can use a pen for a long time, as long as I'm gentle with it and put the cap back on, etc. with a mandala, it's generally a process of repeating a pattern in generally the same way all the way around the mandala. And it's not dissimilar to walking in a, oh, what do you call it now? I've lost the word. I'm going to think of it. You know, oh, like a maze, but it's not really a maze. It's a pattern, and you walk through it as a meditation. It's just a lovely meditation. I've always wanted to have one in my own garden. I'll think of the word as soon as I stop trying. So what you see me doing right now is a series of what we call echoes. I like to call it an echo or an aura, and I'm following the curve of this line here around these petals by starting on the side of the petals below there, these, and then going to land on the other side here. And what I'm going to do is a couple of layers of these, then a much closer aura like that. And again, a nice close one here. I'm going to create a new shape inside of that shape. This is what gives mandalas all of that complexity. But it's not as hard as it looks. It just takes patience and sticking with it to create the complex patterns that appear at the end. They're just done one stroke at a time. I'm going to do another little circle inside of here. You see what I'm doing is kind of building. It's a little bit like frosting a cake, I think. You know, you build that one layer at a time, and those complex flowers that are made out of frosting, and you know, they're put on top of cakes and those big designs, they build those, the petals of those. Now this one is going to have one one here that doesn't go over. You'll see what I'm saying. Let me not get ahead. I'm doing this. It's kind of not totally working like I imagined it, but it's okay. I'm enjoying it. There we go. I can do that here. Oh, whatever. And this is a little different than kind of what you consider traditional Zentangle, in that these strokes that I'm doing right now are not patterns in and of themselves. They're simply, I'm just creating pattern by making the same strokes over and over in this way. But this is just what we call aura, and it's a similar shape and idea as the tangle that we call crescent moon. But this process doesn't look like crescent moon. It's not the same sort of execution as being side by side over and over again. So because it's in this format of being a mandala that I'm doing this way, it's just a little bit different than what we sort of look at as being traditional Zentangle. Anyway, now I'm going to do some things that start to add real shape and form to it. And sometimes these don't work out real well. But this is also how I get some of the most beautiful work, is by just taking chances and drawing outside the lines and following my intuition. And so it's really the artist's process, so to speak. I'm not following a guide. I have nothing already drawn this time to tell me which way to do it. So I'm just going to take my chances, and I'm going to make some big strokes out to the sides. And I'll try to make them symmetrical. But I have this big space to work with, so if I don't get it quite right, then I rethink that design, right? It wasn't quite right, so now it's no longer a symmetrical thing. It's now an asymmetrical thing, and then I'll go over here and draw another asymmetrical thing, right? And then that becomes the pattern. So that's kind of how it works. And I'm using this point here of this triangle because I know that they go all the way around as my guide. So I'm lining up to that as my start. And then I just made a nice arc like that, and then going back to that little point and doing the other side. That's how I decided that's how I made it. Now I'm turning my tile so that this triangle is now the point, and maybe what might be helpful is to point it up, right, away from you perfectly, and that that is now sort of square, right? And so now I'm going to do the same thing here and try to imitate this arc. And I know that I did it from this very comfortable pen position for me, and very likely I can simply go like that. Just follow my hand's natural arc to get there. Yeah, this pen is skipping a little bit. Interesting. But I think I'm gonna use that to my advantage with this one. I don't know why. I just really want to go with the purple. It's a mood for purple. Now I'm going to turn it around and try to do that exactly again. But this time, I'm trying to do a mirror image of that. And I find it kind of helpful to look at it there and then mirror it. I don't know. You'll have to come up with what works best for you. And truth be told is I move the tile around all the time. So there's definitely not one right way. Just do what works for you. Find your comfort place and go with that. Remember to breathe deeply. Slow down with your pen. Make each stroke a deliberate mark on the page. That's where the mindfulness comes to play. It's being very mindful and noticing the way the pen feels on the paper. Noticing those lines that have little gaps in them, and whether you like that or don't. And taking a time to go over them so that they are where you want them to be. Now by doing those designs, this and this, all the way around, look what I've done. I've created a new, what I call kind of meta design of these big petals around here. And so my opportunity is to build on those, and I'm going to. And so I'm going to keep going with my style of doing this, which is to just build shapes and build symmetries that I can keep going with. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow my mind's eye and allow myself to just relax into the process. Continually reminding myself to sit up straight, to breathe. I'm sort of fixing the angles of these by adding a little space, either in this case on the inside of that, and in this case on the outside, because it's a little off. You see that? Here I'm going to make this one look a little bigger by going down the outside lines because it's small. Same thing here, it's a little bit small. So I want to go outside those lines. This one's huge, so I'm going to go inside the lines and basically resize those a little bit. And then I'm going to go into these and get a little bit Dr. Seussy, I like to think of it as, and make some really bold small lines here where I intend to color them in. But you know what I'm deciding is that this pen is not going to last. I'm going to have to go find another purple pen in order to continue with this one. So probably will do that when I get to a break. And switch out the pen. I'm planning to color these in every other one. I just love that look of the alternating bold black and white squares. It always adds drama and visual appeal to any piece that I do, and it gives whimsy to it as well. It's not usually I mean, it's a really nice, just bold design. Love it. There we go. I'm going to make these spaces a little bit smaller by doing an aura inside. I'm sort of going to standardize them too. And I think I'll add a little dimension by connecting these corners, and then it just gives this impression, a little bit more of kind of a 3D impression. We'll see how that works if I go around and do it. You know, I have to remind myself of the mantra of Zentangle that there are no mistakes. And so maybe there's no mistake that I am using this sketchy purple pen. Maybe that's exactly the pen I should be using. It's almost like as if there is such a thing as pen destiny. This is my pen destiny. Maybe this is what I deserve. This is the pen I deserve. That's very dark. I want to start building some things in here, and I don't love the way it looks right now, so I keep telling myself, don't give up, it's going to get there. So I am just going to trust the process, that it's going to turn out to be something I love. But I'm just not loving this star inside of a flower with the flowers. I don't know, I don't know, it's not speaking to me, but it's going to get there. I'm going to get there. So, and what part of it is I'm not doing any coloring in right now because of this pen, and I don't want to waste the little ink that I have, so, you know, kind of working around that, but okay. I want to get something inside of these spaces here, something in here, and I think I'm going to, go with a little bit of a grid design. So I'm going to make a grid parallel to the shape of the base of this triangle, and then I'm going to go right down the middle, and this is going to be my grid side by side. I don't know if I'm going to like that, but I'm going to try it. I'm putting myself out of my comfort zone today. Using the purple pen, I'm doing a grid side by side. What has happened here? Why am I being so rebellious? What kind of crazy world am I living in? Okay. Now back to my purple pen. And in these spaces, I'm going to go a big swoop this way, like a big arc that way, and a little line this way. A big arc this way, and a little line this way. Do you see it? So, and then I'm going to pretend like the arc is inside here because these squares get cut off with this little frame. So pretending it's there, I'm going to come out this end and go to there, and then go from the corner with the line. Right? And then this one, if it started up here where this grid is, it would come down here and it would enter right there, and I wouldn't see the little spike, so I'm not doing that one. Now over here I'm going to do the same thing. Starting at this base, I'm going to go up to there and then draw a line like this. And then up to there, but pretending like it's going to continue to the corner, right? Just got to get the angle right. And that line from there to there. And then up there, and this line from here to here. And then up there. And you wouldn't see the line once again. Now see? That's a really cool pattern, I think. That's really neat. Now I'm going to put a circle inside each of these. And I'm going to aura inside of these. Just give them more definition, those cool shapes. I'm going to pretend there's one here. If there were, what would it look like? I always have a hard time with this. It would have the leg and the leg there, like this space right here, these little legs would be right there and right there in those corners. And that would be it, basically. Okay, well that's it. I'm just going to go a circle there. I don't know if I got it right, but that's okay. It's a good design. Then I'm going to do the same thing here. Aura here. And I'll make sure I get the right aura. Down and over. Down and over. There we go. Now, moments like this, I need to sit up straight, roll my shoulders back, hold it out in front of me and look at it. What have I created? That looks cool. Now, how in the world will I ever replicate it? Well, I know how, because it's pretty simple. It's an arc that starts in the corner. Oh, hi, Freya. Freya's here. My arc goes in the corner. Hello, kitty. You got to scoot out. Come on, baby girl. She wants to be right in the business here. She's like, oh, we're drawing. Yay. Okay. Oh, stop. She's going to mess me up. And then I'm going to go this way, and this way, and this way, and then up. Remember, I have these little things here to do, too. It's pretty cool. And so this is a proprietary design. We invented this together just now. You can say you were here when this design was invented. Haha. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then I want to go like that. I'm just forgetting my pattern there. But this is the way. That's it. Yay. I'm liking it now. See, I just needed to add a little something to it, give us a little more something. Okay, here we go. Following the same pattern with a line right like that, and then go like this, and a line, and go like this, and the line, go like that, and we can't see the line because it's underneath there. I come over here. See, if I turn it too much, I get a little bit sort of disoriented because it's actually kind of complex. You know, it's simple to do, but it's complex to look at, I guess is the way to look at it, is see it, you have to keep it straight-ish in your mind as you're doing it. There we go. Now, again, I'm going to do this little aura there, aura there, There we go. That is a really pretty thing. I like it. It's so simple but so pretty, elegant. Now I'm getting muscle memory, right? As soon as I turned it, I didn't even have to think about it. Now I'm confident in this stroke. I'm confident which way the line goes. That just gets built with the focus that you're giving to it. I know there's dots in here. And then I do these to echo. I don't need to go fast. Not in a hurry. Nowhere else to be. Nothing I'd rather be doing. Nice and slow. Steady as she goes. And following this pattern, and just continue finishing up that element of it. There we go. So I've finished putting this pattern in all of these petals, and I'm pretty pleased with it. I'm going to take a pause and see if I have another purple pen. See if I like it better or not. Be right back with you. Hi, I'm back, and I did not find another purple pen, but I did find a blue pen, and I did find a brown pen. So I am going to keep these here handy. I also have, of course, I have my jar of pens right here, and it has some other ones, but they're different sizes, and they're big, they're thicker, like oh, there's purple. Hold on one second. I didn't even pull this one out because the top would lead me to believe it's pink, not purple, and also because it said on the top 05, which means it is slightly thicker tip. And I just lean towards the thinner tip, but hey, for purple, I'm willing to go thicker, baby. Here we go. Let's see what happens. It might not even write very well. Let's just try it. All right, what do I want to do next? I want to put something swoopy and swirly in here, and I really like things to overlap, in these. I think the more I can intersect or create depth, the more interesting it is. So I want to create some kind of swoopy thing. And what I'm going to do is draw it behind the petals. I'm going to draw something that, oh, this is nice and thick. Like a thick banner, maybe, that runs behind the whole thing. And I'm going like this. Oh, shoot, look what I've done. I have to remember what's inside and what's outside, right? I was thinking the petals were, oh shoot, no, I've got a mess here. So maybe it just weaves in and out willy-nilly. That's what it's going to do, is just going to weave in and out willy-nilly. This is how you lean into your accidents or whatever. Was I'm not keeping very good tabs on which way the thing is going. But this is exactly the kind of way that these very interesting things happen. And I get some of the best results by just ignoring the thing I think I messed up on, right? And for instance, here's another one where it's not symmetrical, because there's 5 points on this. And so, anyway, beep, 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 beep. No big deal. Let's not dwell on it. We'll move on. And now I want to do something inside of those. So I'm going to create, I want them to look like they're like a ribbon or a fabric. So I'm going to go like this, all the way around, as if it has an edge. This piece of ribbon that runs below or behind here. I want it to appear to have an edge, so I'm going to do this. And now I'm going to draw the design that would be on this. And in my mind's eye, it's like a Victorian sort of thing. So I'm going to try to do paisleys and flowers. The easiest way to do that is kind of with this muka shape, because you can do lots of them just by getting the muscle memory of it and then doing an aura around that. Yeah, this is where this big pen might not make very much sense. It's a little hard to do, but that's okay. I'll make it work. I try to vary the pattern a little bit so that different parts are, you're looking at different sections of the thing that's here. And for me right now, in my mind's eye, it's a ribbon. And so we're looking at different portions of the ribbon as it's weaving in and out of this thing that I'm drawing. You see, so there's some of them are big in the middle, and some of them are small on the sides, and some hang off. Maybe there's just a tail of one. I do like to use the real estate that I get pretty well by at least having a couple of little doodahs that are large, right, to just set the tone of the pattern. If I do all of them, well, if I do all of them small, then it's just a smaller pattern, which is okay too. But in this case, this particular thing, I just like it this way. It fits. We can fit more in here. Oopsie, got a little excited on that one. See there? It's all right. I can make it work. I like it. It's coming along. It actually has a little bit kind of a Native American feel, these things, the way they're blocky. I think it's interesting. Now, let's work on, I think I'm going to do something like this, where it's going to give me, I have this great big pen now, so I can do something really bold where I have to color in with my pen. So I think I'm going to make those a little bit smaller. A little bit smaller. One more, a little bit smaller. Yeah. And I'm going to do it again. The way that I decided this angle was I went the opposite of this angle. So if I'm going to go this way, unfortunately I've got two of them going the same direction, so I've got to figure out which angle am I going to work against. I think think I'll do it this way. This will be sort of on the diagonal from these two others. There. Well, that's neat. So now they kind of have to be different, right? Because this one and this one are different. They all have to go their own direction. That's how I accommodate for my own errors. So let me see now. This one could start here. You see I'm doing them a little splayed, if I don't know how else to describe that, like they get bigger at the end. I'm splaying them out. I did a better job here than I did there, but I intended to do it there too. Because I want to have, I don't know, I like the angled look of that. I just started doing that. I mostly do things straight, and so I just started playing with this, and it sure has a dramatic effect. So I keep trying different ways to do it. See here. I will admit it's kind of interesting and hard, and it's like easier and more difficult to do it in small spaces. You have to really think about where is the design and how can you get the most maximum impact while still being consistent with the pattern, right? It's interesting. I feel like I'm having a little bit of a light change in my studio right now. I do have a window here, and it doesn't get a lot of bright light, but I feel like there's something changing, and one of the lights that are in the studio has changed a little bit, and things are a little darker. I hope it's okay. Let's see now. There we go. Now those are really bold things, aren't they? Now the question is, should I color them all in? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to color in the alternating ones, and then I'll decide to do what the other one, what to do with the other ones. Getting excited about this one. So now I've got to color these in. Sometimes I lose track of which one is opposite. If I'm trying to do a checkerboard pattern, which is what I'm doing here, I really do lose track of the diagonal or the alternating pattern, and I have to sometimes really focus on that. This is a good time though for me to remember. I just was feeling it. I have this one little spot on my right shoulder that pinches if I don't lower my shoulders. And so I have to remember to lower my shoulders, or else the whole time that I sit in this position with my pen in my hand, I have this little squeeze up there. And it's just whatever muscle it is that runs all the way up my arm through to that place. It's excruciating afterwards. I don't really feel it now, but I'll feel it later. And it's like as soon as I stand up and walk away, I'm like, oh, that pain in that shoulder. Oh my gosh. And it's just one little spot. Almost like I can put it on the tip of an eraser. It's eraser size. That's how big the spot is that the muscle squeezes right there. And I continually have to remind myself to lower that shoulder down, or else I'm going to be regretting it later. I'm glad I found this big purple mark pen because I can really color in big spaces with it because it's a bigger tip. And again, when I have an old pen, it could either be full of ink because I've never used it, or it could be all dried up because I've never used it. So. Look at there, that's kind of neat, isn't it? Deep breaths. The last 2 days I had the opportunity to reconnect with an old friend through a big group chat that a lot of us, 17 or so people, college friends, are all on this one group chat. And every now and then in the last couple of years someone has been added to it who somehow came back on the scene or something. But it's been a while since anyone's been added to it because we've all known each other for eons. So it's not like new people are coming along that we didn't know, because that's not the point. Anyway, it's somehow somebody was found because the two women friends' sons now go to college together, and one of the women's sons came home from college with his buddy, and the buddy said, "Oh, my mom went to that college too, where you went, and she's this age too, and her name is this." And it turns out, of course, she knew her. My friend, we were all the same age and same year. She knew exactly who she was, and she's like, "No way, that's crazy." So anyway, she got added to the group chat over this weekend while I'm doing this. And so we've reconnected with her. And I guess for just like a minute, I thought, oh, she doesn't really want to connect with any of us because it's been so long. And if she wanted to, she knew where we were. And she's just sort of made her way, doing her own thing. And she was never into social media and, kind of not a joiner. It just seemed like it was a choice and that we didn't need to bug her. But she was so excited and said she was feeling so nostalgic and how wonderful it was to reconnect. And she was sitting there looking at her yearbook from our graduating year and wishing she hadn't lost touch with those friends. And it was just so sweet. And I thought, oh, how many people are lonely or not included or whatever it may be, missing the opportunity to be connected with others, that they have something to share with each other and they are not extending that olive branch or forgiving and forgetting and just growing up and moving on from that thing. And so, I don't know, if that brings somebody to mind for you, I just encourage you to reach out. And the worst thing that can happen is you're right back where you started. They might ignore you or not take your call, so to speak, or not respond to your text or whatever. But they might be feeling just like you, that, wow, I really lost touch with some people I care about, and so much has happened since then, and times have changed, and we've all grown up, and whatever it was that made us lose touch doesn't matter anymore. And yet the bond we had was meaningful and important, and, they left a mark on your life, and you'd like to have them back in your life again in some capacity. That's how I feel about this friend. We were really close, and she meant a lot to me in those years of my life. And I mean, she really was the most significant friend I had in college. So to have her disappear right after college, and just lose touch with her was really sad. And for a lot of years, I really held a lot of sadness about it, active sadness, if I could put it that way. And just over time, you just go on with your own things, and you can't, it doesn't pay to just be actively sad. And I don't know why I didn't try to reach out to her. Again, I think because I felt like she had made a choice to do this, and I don't know, maybe it was just the circumstances, and I just didn't reach out earlier. But now that we're reconnected, I'm so excited. I don't know if what that might look like in any sense, but it doesn't matter. Just to hear her say that it was nice to hear or see our names, and, that she was missing everybody, I was happy to hear that she was doing well, and it was neat, a neat story. Sometimes when I get a little tired of coloring in like this, I just pause, put my pen down, stretch my fingers out, shake it off, shake my arms on the sides, because this is not about getting tense. Lean my neck from side to side and roll my shoulders back. Ooh, just give myself a little bit of time to stretch and energize my muscles and put some oxygen into my muscles. Okay, here we go. And then I think about what else. A technique I've learned for mindfulness type of meditation is to imagine negative thoughts or things that you don't want to think about, and plop those thoughts right into a bubble, right? And let that bubble sort of pop out of you. The bubble, emit the bubble in your mind and let it float away. And so every time you think of something that you don't want to think about, or something creeps into your focused attention towards the thing that you are trying to think about, you can put that thought into a bubble and watch it float away. That's a helpful analogy for me, because it doesn't have to go away forever. It's still out there. It's just right now I don't have to divide my attention among all the things on my mind right now. It's okay for me to give my attention to this for the time I'm doing it, which is not going to be very long. And that's why I always say there's no place else I'd rather be, nothing else I'd rather be doing. It's a gift to myself to sit and color in these squares. People occasionally ask me how long does it take to make a more complex mandala, and I say generally the total time is about at least an hour and a half to 2 hours. This one might be a little less time because we're using up a lot of space with these big black and white, with the purple blocks of checkers here, checkerboard. But anyway, it generally is a couple of hours of time, but I don't always do it in one sitting. But I try to do it in one sitting. That's about it to answer that. It's a really great thing to do on an airplane, as long as there's no turbulence. That's never fun. I haven't been on an airplane in so long now. Certainly since COVID hit, and before that might have been, I don't know, good 6 months before that, maybe. So it's been a while. Stark comparison to when I was working full-time in corporate America, and I was flying almost every week sometimes, and sometimes more than once a week. Now it's hilarious because, of course, everything's done remotely, and it just cracks me up how hard people wanted to, how impossible it was to let people work in other states or work from home or things like that when they didn't have to. And then as soon as COVID hit and all of a sudden everybody has to, it's like, oh yeah, we can do that. So I'm thrilled with it. I think more ways to make work more enjoyable for more people is always a good thing, and more productive, etc. But not everybody has thrived working at home, and so it's clearly a thing that, some people do better with than others. There we go. All right, let's take a pause now and see. It's kind of just crazy. It's just a little bit kooky and messy a little bit, and there's not a lot of continuity going on. And I'm all right with that. It's interesting to look at. I'm enjoying making it, but it is kind of weird. So I said earlier that I was going to do the black and white or purple and white checkerboard on these edges, and I feel like now that I've done the big ones, it might not work as well as I thought. So I think what I'm going to do is just stripes like this. Well, it's going to look like blocks anyway. So anyway, I'm taking the lines that I've drawn and just filling in next to them a little bit. So it's not quite a solid square, but pretty close. Oh, I could have used one of the other colors, the pens I found, I guess. But this worked out fine. Every time I see this shape right here, it makes me think of the what's it called? The Eiffel Tower. I keep seeing right here, it looks like the Eiffel Tower. Whoops, I almost started filling in the whole block. I forgot that I was doing it like this. A little bit less than the whole block to just keep it from blending too much with the big blocks below or something. I don't know. I just felt like it was too much. There's that shoulder kink again. I gotta lower my shoulders. Remember to breathe. I think that's all of them. Oh no, here's one. There we go. Let's see now. It's kind of cool. It's got real boldness to it, you know. I think I'm going to have to decide what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do some circles in here, really right next to each other. Like this. Nice bold circles and this nice bold pen. All the way, fill in this whole border all the way around. Like this. Squeeze one in when it gets a little small at the end. And go around the other side. We don't have to be perfect, meaning in the box, you know. It can go out a little bit. I think maybe they're great big berries and they spill over the sides. Or maybe they're just giant dots. Just slow down just a little bit. I'm getting a little sloppy on the ends there. I like them right next to each other. That they make a bolder pattern right next to each other, lined up like that. As the space gets bigger, my circles get bigger to fill it. Oh, I haven't done the bottom there. Let me go back and do it. There we go. If you're a Zentangle practitioner, like me, and you're interested in purchasing any products, that please don't hesitate to look on my Etsy page, which is also Meg Steele Creates, because I have put together a couple of different sets of Zentangle branded high quality tiles in different colors and quantities at very reasonable prices to help you have access to different things than you can buy online. Sometimes you can buy the same thing, but you can't buy it in this quantity, and you want to try them out before you commit to 10 of something or 20 or etc. So I'm trying to put together some combinations of things that you can't get it elsewhere, and that might be helpful to you. So please check out my site and let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like me to make available, if there's something you're having trouble finding that I'm talking about online. Something I've shown you but you can't find it anywhere. I can certainly make those things available on my Etsy page. Or tell you where I get them if it's just as easy to find them someplace. I'm happy to share that. Filling in my circles. This is what I do now. This is my life. Making the circles. But this is how this really awesome complexity gets built. With these mandalas that have so much going on, it's a process. Let's see here. What's next? I can't really decide. Maybe it's good. Maybe I just need to do some shading and see what happens. Let's try it. Okay, I'm taking my Zentangle graphite pencil, and I'm going to sharpen it just a little bit. It's a little bit duller than I'd like, so I'm going to sharpen a little bit over here. I feel like such an artist when I do that. I sharpen it like right on the table. Oh, who has time for trash cans? All right. So when I look back at this, it's the things to really make pop are these big chunks of black and white shapes. Oopsie, I see something I forgot to color in there. Gotta get it. Whoopsie. Is that purple? Yeah. It's my little skinny bit purple, so I was like, oh no, I don't want to do it in blue. All right. So I think that's what I have to start with, is how do I really maximize those? And I think what I want to do is make them look like, I want to shade on the inside of them, like this. So I'm shading on the inside. And I'm not really doing it over the purple, to be honest, because it kind of makes the purple paint, or the purple pen lines shiny, if you will. So I'm not doing much of it, but I'm also not working too hard to avoid it. It's not a problem for it to be there. I just sometimes don't like it to be the entire area, because it can be just sort of make it look a little weird and distorted when the colored ink, like black or purple or whatever color you're using, has a lot of graphite on it. It doesn't always work well. And sometimes I sort of forget and I do it anyway. So, well, it's just the way it is. Zentangle is not stressful. This is not the thing to stress out about. This is a gift to yourselves. Time to relax and draw and see what we can make. Be curious. Take chances that have no consequences. Give our minds a rest thinking about things we can't solve, and work on things we can. Look at this. I can solve this. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now the next thing I think that I want to try to do something with is these things, and I think what I'm going to do is make them look like they go in at each of these places. Kind of like these are like fans going in front of the other part. That's the way I'm imagining them right here. Like can-can dancers, and they're turning their fans this way and that. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to emphasize those in parts and where the fans are and see what that looks like. So I'm going to start with just putting the graphite down while I'm using it. I have to remember now that I have graphite on my tile, and so I really want to hold my hand up a little bit, keep my angle up so that I don't rub my hand on it, end up with a big pencil mark on my side of the hand, and then also smudge it all over where I didn't mean to smudge it. I need to have ultimate smudging control. And so, there we go. That'll work nicely. And this one, whoops, here, that's that. And then in these, I think I'll do it along these little bezeled edges, and then I will push the graphite in, and I will do the outside of these things right here so that it shows how this ribbon is underneath there, giving that impression that it goes behind, you know, like that. we go. Now we'll go up here and give a little love to this shape. Put it on the outside of that. And maybe right here and right here where it crosses over those things. It's already there, it looks like. Right there, I already got that. Yeah. Oh, did I miss? Oh, that's where I was doing it. Okay. I think I got all those. Maybe in the center I can pull it up this way. I'm not sure how that'll look, but we'll see. Now I need to have this make some sense. Why is that ribbon going over that and then these things don't go behind? What is happening here? It's madness and chaos, I see. Oh, I had an idea. Something I might do after this, after I do this shading. See if I can remember to do it. Okay, I'm going to get my smudger out and go to town, baby. I'm going to start in the middle and work my graphite in all the places that I thought I was going to here and see what happens. See if this design pops like I want it to. I think I have to go in there a little bit more. Those little corners there they ain't got no love. Go up here. Remember to breathe. We're in the home stretch of this one, but let's not get out of sync with our reason for being here. Is it coming to life? Sometimes I have to stand back and look at it a little bit to see if it's doing what I hoped it would do, and I kind of think it is. It's pretty neat. It looks pretty great. think my light just changed in here again. Sometimes one of these lights in the studio just goes on and off on its own. I think it's when the light outside changes or something. It's sort of responsive to that. I don't know if you notice it, but I do. Have I gotten all the way around it? I think I have. Okay, let's see now. It definitely has a cool 3D thing going on. The star is more prominent than I imagined it would be. But these black and white sections really do something cool to it. I want to add something on the ribbon. So what I had in mind was this. Let's break out the Van Dyke Brown, man. We're going for it. And I'm gonna put it inside the paisley shapes. And I'm really just doing that as a way to give some place to smudge, you know, like something to target, to aim for. I could put this all over it, but I want it to be a little darker in some places than others, just because I think that'll give it some texture. So I'm kind of being rough with it, if you see what I mean. I'm not coloring that in perfectly, just kind of roughly filling in those spaces, because then I'm going to come back around with my smudger and my tortillon and kind of antique it a little bit. I might even see if I have a white pencil nearby. That can be a really cool look too. So we'll see what I can come up with. There's that. Let's see what that looks like when I smudge it around a bit more. Oh yeah, see, now you get this a little texture inside here, and it'll give us a way to see it more as part of the whole too. It'll just stand out a little better. Yeah, I like that. I'm not being very careful at all about where I smudge, just because I know it won't all smudge away. It'll mostly stay where I put it, just little bits of it will smudge away, so I can get a little messy. Plus I'm using a dirty tortillon, so it's one of my favorite things to say. You dirty tortillon. Okay, now I'm going to go back around this flower a little bit because I feel like we missed a chance here. And also inside these, I'm just going to get a little more dark about that. Right, like this. Kind of aiming my pencil on the edge of and on the inside. I don't know how to explain it. It's like on the two outer sides of these lines of circles, like there on that side of it and on this side of it. Because I think these will, since I got the star, I might as well lean into it and make it stand out. Where'd it go? I lost my place. Oh, here. Got them. Okay. Now I'm going to go back across these and just spread that graphite right down the sides. Whoops, there's a place I missed. This one. Got this one right there. Okay, I'll discover them as I go along. All right, now it's really standing out. I love that now. Looks pretty cool. What was the other thing I wanted to do here? Oh, I thought maybe I would just try a little trick with my Jelly Roll 10 white pen. Let me see if I can get a little scratch out of it. I'll just do it up here. Yeah, it seems like the white is running out. Is running, is what I mean, is coming out. And I'm just going to do a line right up the center of these little dots. And very lightly, like not even, I'm barely pressing. I'm just giving this, and it doesn't even get on all of them, you know. It gets on a few better than others. And it gives like this nice highlight to those lines of repetitive dots where they can sort of look three-dimensional. You know, that like they're rounder than they are, and it's a cool look. Do you see it? There we go. That looks pretty neat. And let's see, anything else I really want to do? No, I think that'll just look muddy. I'm pretty pleased with it. I don't think there's anything else. Unless maybe I took this gold pen right here, Jelly Roll Metallic Gold, and made all of these little dots gold. There we go. That's what it needed. Just a little sparkle, a little something regal. All right. We're about to wrap this one up. I want to just say thank you so much for joining me. It means so much to me. And I really appreciate your support. And I think we have reached the end of that. Can you see the gold sparkle on there? And then I'm going to go right here and I'm going to put gold in these spaces, and it'll kind of look like gold leaf, right? These little petals inside the petals. Just do a little touch up there like this. Little details that make it look so special. So, oh, this will be on my Etsy page for sale if you want it. I just started to put them out there thinking some people who are watching might not do it themselves, but they really like the end result. And I'll tell you, so many times I just put these in my little books, or I don't do much with them sometimes. I have so many, so I thought, why don't I make them available? And if people want them, they can buy them. If no one ever buys one, that's okay. But maybe somebody would love to have this for their own. And so I will sign the front and the back. Let me get a black pen here. And so thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I had a great time with this one, learned a lot, liked this new pattern, and appreciate you being with me. Have a fantastic day, and thanks again. Bye-bye now.